Hi everybody, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a blessed day. Um so I have some words I'm gonna be recording today. This one's gonna be the first one, and this he gave me on the 9th, January 9th. I was in prayer for you guys, right? And I was like, Lord, what do your people need to hear? What do you want to tell your people? And then he led me to scripture, and I was like, okay. So when I get into it, you're gonna see why I wasn't so like excited to share this one. But I have to, okay. And I know that whenever God gives messages like this, it's because he loves us. Okay, keep that in mind. And so this may not be for everybody. Of course, take everything back to the Lord. Okay. So after that prayer, he took me to Ezekiel 33 verses 31 through 33. Okay. And it says, my people come to you as they usually do and sit before you to hear your words, but they do not put them into practice. Their mouths speak of love, but their hearts are greedy for unjust gain. Indeed, to them you are nothing more than one who sings love songs with a beautiful voice and plays an instrument well. For they hear your words, but do not put them into practice. When all this comes true, and it surely will, then they will know that a prophet has been among them. I was like, okay, Lord. Okay. So God is calling some of you out on your obedience. This ministry, I'm huge on obedience. And it's not, I don't view obedience as works or anything. The way I see obedience is being one with God, doing his will, on the earth, so that he will be seen, so that he will be heard, so that he will be known. Right? That's what obedience does. Obedience also brings blessing. It's in Deuteronomy 28. Go read that whole chapter. There's blessings in obedience, and there's curses in disobedience. Okay, and so if I'm big on obedience, it's because I want to see you guys blessed with everything that God has for you guys. I can come on here and share, he's saying this, he's going to do this, he's doing this, but it will all mean nothing if you don't align yourself to his will. There has to be a change in our lives to be within his will. It's like he is the way, the truth, and the life. So there's one way, there's one path, right? And if you're walking on that path, it requires obedience. And if you're in disobedience, you're outside of that path, right? And so all the blessings, all the protection, everything is on this path. But if by your choosing you decide not to obey, now you're in disobedience. And you're missing out on blessings. You're delaying yourself, because it's like God is saying, I'm doing this. Either you align to me, or you go off and do your own thing. And a lot of times people too, they're like, well, nothing's coming to pass. And it's like, if you're in obedience and you're aligned with God in his will, like, you will see it. you know. So pray for your obedience, pray for the Lord to order your steps, surrender yourself, surrender your plans, surrender your wants, your likes, whatever you feel you need, surrender that to God. And always make sure that it's God, right, that you're following. And yeah, all this is because he loves us. He loves us. His love should never be in question because his love was demonstrated on the cross. I mean, Jesus is the perfect example of obedience. He was obedient unto death. Death. He knew what awaited him, and yet he still obeyed. Nothing makes us more Christ-like. Nothing aligns us more to the image of God. Nothing sanctifies us more than just being obedient. Nothing delivers us more than being obedient, walking in his ways. Walking on that path, that narrow path. Is it hard? Yes. But really, like, once you've been on this path, it's like you don't want to go back and walk any other path. You don't want to be away from him and his presence and his voice and his love and his comfort and all that, like, you know. And so for many of you, God has given instruction and you have not put it into practice. Some of you say you believe in God, but yet you don't feel you need to obey his commands. You know, really seek God on this, okay? Do not be deceived. Like, right now is not the time. Ever is the time to be deceived. Like, live by his word. Live out his word. Okay, yeah, and I've actually have seen this myself. It's like like he'll have me put out videos that give out instruction, and then I'll see in the comments like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait on God, and I'm like, wait on him for what? He just said what to do. Like, I don't get that kind of thinking. Like, when God says something, you should, like that, do it quick, you know. Even if it's a struggle, like when something is a struggle to obey, that means there's so much attached to that. There's blessing, and not only blessings for you, but blessings for others. Oh my goodness. Every time I obey, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. And I have also been on the other side of people's disobedience, and God is like, nope, we're waiting on this person. And I'm like, then make them do it. You know, because I'm over here doing everything I can, right? And being aligned and obeying and all this stuff, and then I'm being held back by someone else's disobedience. I'm like, that's not fair. I'm like, God, do it without them. Do it without them. But then it's like, oh my goodness, not my will, but your will be done, right? And so I obey. I come on here when he says to come on here. I come out here and say what he wants to say, because I don't know who's on the other side waiting to receive this word, this confirmation, who's just waiting on God to confirm, or waiting on God to tell them something. You know, a word of encouragement. You may be down and out, hanging on by a thread, and then here comes this word that's gonna just resurrect you, you know. So we have to think beyond ourselves. Once we are in the family of Christ, once we are his children, it's no longer about us, and what we do has like a ripple effect, you know. We're all connected. And so it's like, if you're in disobedience, your disobedience is not just a choice that's affecting you, a decision that you made for yourself. No, it's going to affect other things too. Likewise, if you're walking in obedience, you're being a blessing to absolutely everybody you come into contact with. And that's by default. God can't use someone who is not obedient. How can he use you? When he uses you, he gives you instruction. That's being used by God, is following instruction. And so if you want to be used by God, but yet you're not obedient, then it's like, how can he use you? Like, he can't use someone who's not going to follow instruction. You know, like, that's why we have to be aligned with him and sensitive to him and obedient to him. And that's where his glory manifests. That's where his heaven is. You know, for his will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven comes down wherever there's obedience. There's an alignment between heaven and earth. And then people see that and are drawn to that, and it's like, what is that? And it's all fueled by obedience, because you have positioned yourself to be a vessel of the Lord. Obedience does that. You can choose to not be obedient and to surrender the blessings and plans that God has for you. Mind you, the plans that God has for us are good. They're pleasing. They're perfect. You know, and it's like, also Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans for good, plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future. They're not to harm us. You know, so I just want to encourage you. God is very patient. That's why he sends out these messages. Just align, position yourself. You know, right now, with what he's doing, you do not want to be out of position. You do not want to be on the other side. And God says it. Jesus says it. Either you're with me or you're against me. Either you're gathering with me or you're scattering. So it's just like, decide. You know, and lukewarm isn't gonna cut it. Being lukewarm it's worse. He would rather prefer you be cold than lukewarm. You know, being double-minded. One foot in, one foot out. So this is coming from a place of love, of patience, of mercy, of his grace. Get in alignment. If he's giving you instruction, do it. Okay? Don't come on here to listen to words and to feel good for a moment and then walk away and not do what he's asking. You know, that's not the purpose of this. You know? Yeah, and he even says, when everything that the prophet says comes true, then they're gonna know that a prophet was among them. And you can position yourself to receive the blessings that are prophesied, or you can position yourself to not receive them. But either way, you're going to see things come to pass for others and not for yourself. You know, Deuteronomy 28, you can choose the blessing or the curse. The choice is yours. But out of his grace and mercy, he's like, choose the blessing. Choose today whom you will serve. Okay. And I also wanted to read verse 1 from Psalm 128. It's one of my favorite Psalms. Blessed are all who fear the Lord, who walk in obedience to him. The ones who fear him and walk in obedience to him are blessed. Okay? Blessed. So let's be a people, his children, that are blessed, that others look on and like say, I want that. And it doesn't matter what it costs. I want to live for God and be blessed, be a blessing to others. Just on time. Okay, that's it for this one. I will have the scripture in the description box, and if you're led to sow, you may do so. That'll be there too. God bless you.